New York Times. Court bans agents who botched Carter Page surveillance from seeking wiretaps. Okay, well, what's the story? And again, what's the real story? Why is the New York Times putting this out there? I'll get to a screenshot in a moment from this. Let me just get to the point. The FISA court has now temporarily banned the agents involved in the Carter Page FISA warrant, which was basically a vehicle to spy on the Trump team, right? As you know from my interview with Carter Page at CPAC, if you listen to it, it's on my YouTube channel. They banned them from going to court for FISA warrants for the near future. Now, folks, as a former Fed myself, that is devastating. Now, it's not enough. Please don't even. It's not enough. The people should be prosecuted. Period. Full stop. I'm just telling you that you're pretty much done as an agent. You're done. Your only purpose as an agent is to go into court and testify as an affiant on warrants. If you can't do it because you've been banned, you're done. You're finished. You're useless. These guys should be fired. Many of them should be prosecuted. But I'm telling you, their career, at least temporarily here, is over. So why is the New York Times reporting this? It's a story, obviously, that reflects positively on the Trump team and Carter Page. Look, these FBI agents are being sanctioned right now. Why are they writing this? Oh, there's always a reason. And I'm always the guy to give it to you. Because they're trying to set up the narrative already, Joe, that this isn't a systemic problem at the FBI lying to spy on political candidates for Hillary. It's just a couple of dudes, and they've already been sanctioned. So no need. Bye-bye now. You know, really condescending people who do that thing. Go away. Bye-bye now. See ya. No investigation needed here, folks. The verdict is in. It was just a couple of low-level guys. It's not systemic. Let's renew FISA authority, renew the Patriot Act, keep up the political spying, because don't you worry, it was just a couple of guys at the bottom. That's the real reason they wrote the story. Trust me on that one. It has nothing to do with exposing FBI agents who lied to the FISA court. It has everything to do with telling you, don't worry, isolated problem here. Let's go to the New York Times piece to show you how, again, they can never, ever tell you the truth. We're here to expose these lunatics. They're talking about Michael Horowitz, the Inspector General, who investigated this. They say, well, Horowitz did not find evidence to confirm Republican conspiracy theories that the Russia investigation and surveillance of Mr. Page were a high-level plot to sabotage Mr. Trump for political reasons. Really? Really? So that's what he said.
Whoa.
That's what he said. So the New York Times is reporting that as a Republican conspiracy theory. He goes on in the next sentence, by the way, to suggest that that the Judge Bosberg, conveniently the same judge who screwed up that other thing we talked about in the beginning of the show, that they're just disciplining these guys. Again, the narrative, don't worry, it's just these small guys. But what's important there, and the takeaway I wanted you to get is not just that they're disciplining this small crew, isolated problem, Joe. Whew, nothing to worry about here. Also, pay no attention to Republican conspiracy theories that this attack by these FBI personnel on President Trump through their spying operation, it's a conspiracy theory that this was politically motivated. It is. Horowitz said that? Remember, this is supposed to be a journalism outfit, the New York Times. This is supposed to be legitimate journalism. We all know they're not. But there are shockingly still very, very small, but small portions of America that believe the New York Times is anything other than a left-wing conspiracy blog. So, according to the New York Times, Horowitz has clearly dispelled Republican conspiracy theories, air quotes, that the attack on President Trump through the spying operation, Spygate, was politically motivated. Okay, well, let's go to the video. What exactly did Michael Horowitz say? Did he say it definitely was not? Joe, he must have said that, right? I'm just following the New York Times' logic as the audience referee. It's a conspiracy theory. So according to the journalists at the New York Times, Charlie Savage, fake news specialist, obviously, Horowitz has thrown that in the garbage and has no evidence at all that there was political motivation to target Donald Trump. Okay, let's listen to Michael Horowitz himself.
In January 2017, when they figure out the primary subsource and they talk to the Russian guy that provided still all the information, what should the FBI have done at that moment?
Two things: reconsidered internally where things stood, and most importantly, told the lawyers at the Justice Department who they were asking to help them get a FISA.
And there are 5 people in that interview, right?
Correct.
Okay. Are you going to make sure those 5 people are known to the higher-ups?
They are all part of the referral that I mentioned earlier.
Okay. Did they have a duty to report to their supervisors and eventually to the court exculpatory information?
Absolutely.
They did not.
They did not.
Why?
That's the question I can't specifically answer for you.
Can you say it wasn't because of political bias?
On decisions regarding those FISA matters, I do not know their state of
Fair
mind at
enough.
this point.
So we're talking about actions now and trying to figure out what would motivate people.
Again, listen, I get it. I'm just a former Fed, former candidate. I understand. I don't run a major newspaper. I'm not Jeff Bezos. I can't buy the Washington Post. I can't buy the Wall Street Journal. I get it. I'm just one dude here. But how hard was it for Charlie Savage of the New York Times in his story to quote Horowitz himself rather than just make something up? The answer is it's not hard. That clip is not hard to find. I'm kid you not when I tell you I went to Twitter and it took me under 5 minutes to find that. I'm being even generous at that. Honestly, it probably took 30 seconds, but I'm trying to be fair to alleged journalist Charlie Savage, who's claiming that there's no evidence of political bias and it's a conspiracy theory. That is not what Horowitz said. He was asked directly by Lindsey Graham when the FBI agents found out they had information, exculpatory information, in other words, information the Trump team was innocent of all of these charges. Why didn't they tell the court that? Lindsey Graham says, can you eliminate political bias as a reason? Horowitz, I can't. But for you reading the New York Times, a left-wing activist blog, no more. It's not journalism. Stop telling me you have no evidence whatsoever the New York Times does any journalism at all. It is not journalism. It's opinion, it's blogging, it's lies. It's not journalism. They could have found that cut in 2 seconds and indicated in the piece, and it would have been fair to say, although political bias by Horowitz hasn't been confirmed, it has not been eliminated as a motive. They could have done that, and they didn't. They called it a Republican conspiracy theory because it's a fake newspaper. It's not real news. It's all fake. I know liberals listening to this show, whether it's on KABC radio, listening on YouTube, listening on Apple Podcasts or whatever. I know this bothers you. I know you're pulling your hair out and you're raging at me right now. Oh, but believe me, I get your dopey emails and your threats. I get them all the time. Why do you rage at me? You rage at me because you know you're living a lie, because you know what I said is true. All you had to do in your fake newspapers was quote Horowitz directly, but you refused. You made up a lie about what Horowitz said and called it a Republican conspiracy theory because you're liars. And I just proved it to you by playing Horowitz himself. And it drives you wild because you're all liars. You're conspiracy theory promoting lunatics, and it drives you nuts because you've had to have a moment of self-reflecting where you've looked in the mirror and you don't like what you see. You're bothered by yourself. You are. You're troubled that you live lives that are lies. You want higher taxes for everyone else, but you do everything to pay your accountant to avoid paying higher taxes yourself. You donate no extra money to the government. You claim you hate school choice because you're in bed with unions, and yet you send your kids to elite private schools. You say you want government-run health care, yet when your health care is a threat, you go crazy because you're a fraud. Listen, I'm sorry. I'm not talking to all Democrats. I'm talking to liberals. Your lives are a lie. It bothers you. You look at your kids in shame. Oh, that's painful. It is true. You're a liar. The Trump Tower meeting was devastating. It was. It's funny because the guy who was there said it wasn't. Oh, the FBI must be lying about that. I thought you loved the FBI when they were targeting Trump. Horowitz said there was no political motivation. I just played Horowitz. Your life is a lie. You're a liar. Nothing you say has any authenticity or veracity to it. You're living a lie. And it's embarrassing. And you live in shame. And that's why you're so angry and violent. That's why you go to these college campuses and you rip up pro-life tables down. Because you can't accept the fact that what you're doing is involved in the termination of human life. It bothers you. I've seen abortion protest. I don't go up and rip their tables down. I walk by and say, you're wrong. Have a nice day. Because I'm not angry at myself, but you are. Your entire life is a hypocritical, phony, fraudulent lie. Everything about you is fake. And I'm sorry to give you the bad news. And I'm sorry you're hurting inside because of it. And I'm genuinely sorry this is happening to you. But maybe one day you'll have an awakening. Don't ever forget. I'll take 100 liberal revolutionaries, to quote the pilot in the movie. 100's worth one plumber. They're not living a lie. Their life is as honest as it gets.
You just heard The Dan Bongino Show. You can also get Dan's podcasts on iTunes or SoundCloud. And follow Dan on Twitter 24/7 @DBongino.